Good afternoon, everyone. So thanks a lot for setting the context, Jan. I will try to keep it short because we have been hearing about Beacon Protocol a lot. So I'm going to talk about future of mobility and green energy with Beacon Protocol. But what I want you to take away is not a solution or an offering. What I'm here to talk about is more like a way of thinking. What Jeff was also talking about, Jan was also talking about. It's a way of solving. It's a model of solving. That's what I'm going to talk about.
The green one.
The green one, right? Oh yeah. Okay, so if you go and buy a car, if you look in a car commercial, this is how it looks like. It looks like big highway, speed, fun, and freedom. We get sold, we buy the car, then sit into it, and this is what we finally get into. Oh, sorry, can you just go back? Yeah, this is what we see from the car dashboard. So we know this, right? I mean, I'm not telling you a new story. This is traffic is a big problem all across the world in many countries, but we know this, but looks like we don't have a solution, or we have a solution which we are not able to kind of achieve. So if I ask all of you, how many of you today kind of used a public transport to come here? Can I get a show of hands? Wow, that's actually more than what I expected. But yeah, I mean, we still have 80% of the room who had to use cars. I won't say that we used cars, but we had to use cars. And that's where, this is what in 2010 TomTom said that you are not stuck in traffic, basically we are the traffic. We have that realization. We want to get out of this. Is there anyone in this room who doesn't want to get into a public transport if it is made convenient for you? Probably no. Surveys say that 95% of the Bangaloreans, and this is true for most of the cities, Kuala Lumpur, Hong Kong, Mauritius, the surveys say that people want to get into public transport, but there are particular problems which are stopping them. What are those problems? Those problems are generally discoverability. I don't know where the public transport is when it is supposed to come. Second is reliability. Even if I know the schedule, I don't know whether it will abide by that or not. Third is generally transactability. If I know all these things, I don't know how to buy the ticket. Do I have to install a new application? Do I have to get into a new digital payment system? I don't know. And the fourth and the biggest one, what Shan and everyone is solving for, is the fast mile and last mile connectivity. How to reach the public transport system. My metro station is 5 kilometers away from my home. How do I reach there? Do I have feeder buses? Do I have small autos or cabs or maybe scooters to take me there? So with all these constraints, if we have to solve for tomorrow's mobility, that's the framework that we have been kind of conjuring for some time. We call it the dance framework, okay? And it's exactly the same thing what we have been hearing for last 10 years. D is for dynamic. Let's say you have a conference which is breaking up at 9 p.m. in the evening. You have, at least in Bangalore, I have never seen the public transport system, the bus system, equipped to that. The bus system is a static schedule which never changes whether there is a football match, whether there is a Coldplay concert or nothing. It runs on its own, but we have to make a transport system which is way more dynamic. We have to make it autonomous. Our friends talked about autonomous driving systems. We have to make it networked, connected. Jeff was talking about it. How can I go from my place to an office with 3 hops, but not going through 3 different applications? How can I have a connected ecosystem where I can come in from one place, buy my ticket, have a door-to-door journey, and get done with it. It has to be customized, personalized. Today, I may like to have a cheaper ride. Tomorrow, I may like to have a sustainable ride because I have to make a case in a conference. Day after tomorrow, I have an interview to take care of, so I need a faster ride. Depending on the days, my requirement changes, and the mobility system has to cater to that. It can't be one solution that fits for all the cases, and definitely the last but not the least is it has to be electric, green, alternate fuel. So just to make the framework complete, we use electric, but it's not electric specifically. I mean, we know, right? I mean, in most of the countries, whether you talk about India, whether you talk about US, Germany, today, even if you look into the scope 2 and scope 3, a coal power plant, a unit of energy produced in a coal power plant is actually costing more than a solar plus battery combined, right? So it's not anymore a sustainability story, it's more an economic story as well. There are economical incentives to move to a electric or green energy. So now with that, this is where I want to table the thought. You have heard about Beacon a lot, but forget the Beacon part. I mean, concentrate more on the network thinking, the model that we are trying to solve it with. We call it the open network model, and that's where I want your focus. I think we have talked about this a lot. We come from a not-for-profit ecosystem. Our protocol itself is a open service, open source protocol, so you can kind of go and use it. Where I want you to focus on is this particular visual. And this is what you should take away from this 8 minutes. We're trying to move from a world of the left side towards the right side. Today, most of the platforms that are built on top of the internet are currently kind of guarded walls, which are saying that, okay, the buyer-seller has to be on the same platform. Can we move towards the right side of the diagram and create a network? We are not doing away with the platforms. The biggest problem when we talk about ONDC, we talk about Namayatri, we are always seen as competitors to Uber, replacements of Uber or a replacement of an Amazon. It's not the case. It's basically supplementing the ecosystem with a different model. The platforms will still have to stay, but they interact with in a different way, and that's where a protocol comes in. So what is a protocol? Protocol is nothing but more like a common language for platforms to talk about. I mean, somebody speaks Germany, I speak Hindi, we can't talk, right? The moment we start speaking English, we are able to interact. So backend protocol is like the English for different types of platforms. So if we superimpose this model in different type of use cases, the mobility use case, the energy use case, this is what we get. In today's ecosystem, the bus transport systems, the metro systems, everything works as silos. The big gray boxes that you are seeing, that's the current bus ecosystem, metro ecosystem, cab ecosystem, and so on. If we can move them towards the right, where all the service providers are connected to one network, and all the people who are trying to get services are connected from the other side, that's where the magic begins. Just imagine if you are coming from a Uber, Trafi, Automicals, solutions, not solutions, maybe people who are using Automical as a gateway, or maybe a WhatsApp or a Google Map, you can find any service that is existing in the city. So for you as a user, it's more like a optionality, more number of options. Your agency goes up. For the service provider, who is a cab driver on the other side, for him, he can start getting orders not only from one channel of Uber, now he can get orders from Uber, Trafi, Automical, WhatsApp, Google Map, and so on. And all these things together, what they are doing to the ecosystem is, they are taking away the replication of cost. Today, Uber is trying to get the same consumer. Today, Lyft is trying to get the same consumer, and they are replicating those ecosystem costs. If we connect them to a network, first of all, those ecosystem costs are removed, there is no replication, and second is it is apportioned across all these platforms, which means the cost of transaction goes down drastically. The instance that Shan was mentioning, it has gone down by 97%. That's a benefit of an open network approach. If we do the same on energy, I have 30 seconds, this is what it looks like. In India, Akhil, my good friend Akhil will also talk about this probably. In India, we have more than 80 charge point operators. If I have an EV, if I am an EV owner, if I'm going from Bangalore to Mysore, I don't know which 5 applications I should use to ensure that I have a full coverage throughout the 300 kilometers. That's where a network approach helps. Just imagine if you're coming from one of the other side, maybe you're using a Pulse Energy application, and you can find all the providers, the GeoBP, ChargeZone, Tata Powers, and others of the world at one place, how beautiful that would be. And this can be extended to many cases. If there are people who are working in the space of micro energy transactions and all, more than happy to kind of take you through. You can, instead of building big chunks of utility scale batteries, you can aggregate small retail batteries that are lying in the households and create one virtual energy warehouse, which can be used by the discoms, which can be used by the energy companies or anyone. Or you can even do peer-to-peer energy trading. In 3 states of India, today, by regulation, it is allowed to sell energy to your neighbor. And that's what a network brings in to your home. So this whole network story is called Unified Energy Interface. Probably Akhil will also talk about it. These are the numbers that the network is already doing. The only thing that I want you to take away, and that's the last kind of statement, all of you guys are builders. All of you guys are coming from a particular problem set, right? Take this model away. Take this the only diagram that I showed, that okay, from platform to protocol, try to apply that in your industry. And if you see there is a fit, let's have a word on that. Thank you for that, and thanks for you listening in.